CJ.
Yeah, also, thank you so much, Karoline, for having us here. Also on the topic of immigration, not only do I think, the legal immigrant community welcomes what the president's doing, but also the Black community. So I would love to get your reaction to recent comments made by Simone Sanders, who said that people of color would be next in line for deportation under this president. Now, that was a revelation to me and probably many others in the Black community. Being a lifelong American, I'm not really sure where Tom Homan would send me other than my childhood home in Augusta, Georgia. But why do you think this fear-mongering is being directed at the Black community over the issue of immigration? And do you think it's offensive to conflate illegal aliens who are traffickers, sexual abusers, with law-abiding citizens in the Black community?
It's absolutely insane, and it is racist what she is saying. The president intends on deporting illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and are not only impacting communities across the country, but in particular communities of color in our inner cities. You remember the story out of New York City where young minority children were kicked out of their public school to make room for illegal immigrants to sleep on the floor of their cafeteria. That is putting America last. Doesn't matter your race, your religion, or creed. If you are a law-abiding American citizen, President Trump is going to put you first. And shame on Simone Sanders for saying that. She knows better, but she's trying to fear people into disliking this president with lies. But I think the American public are much smarter than she believes that they are, and that's why they reelected President Trump.
Wait, before you finish watching the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're building this platform one subscriber at a time, and your help is greatly appreciated. Let's get into the video.
The good news is we are just getting started. We are very busy every single day here at the White House, literally working around the clock, 7 days a week to restore the golden age of America. Hundreds of promises have been made and kept. There is certainly more work to do. The best is yet to come. But we are very proud of the efforts the president has made to continue the non-traditional media approach that he so beautifully executed on the campaign trail, which led him back to this office, talking to podcasters, social media content creators, and influencers like yourself. And again, we're so proud to welcome you to the White House here today so you can ask questions for the whole world to hear. Thank you, Dom.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the honor to be able to ask a question and provide some transparency for the American people. Speaking of, I wanted to reference the election integrity. A lot of people in America are questioning if there's any possibility that we could see further investigations for anyone that could have violated our election integrity rights. And more importantly, so is there any possibility for names such as Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rodham Clinton to ever just possibly get investigated for any of these, questions from the American people, for any of the wrongdoings they might have done?
Well, it's refreshing to actually hear a question on election integrity because the legacy media would never ask such a question. They're so out of touch with where the American people are on this issue. And Americans, you're absolutely right, want to have trust in our electoral system. Without free and fair elections, you cannot have a free and fair country. And President Trump has absolutely been a leader on this effort, talking about the irregularities we've seen in our elections, holding Democrats accountable for allowing illegal immigrants to participate in our elections. And he actually signed a recent executive order to protect the integrity of our elections. It will strengthen voter citizenship verification laws. It also directs the Attorney General to enter information sharing agreements with state election officials to identify cases of election fraud. So that correspondence between the federal government and the Attorney General with state and local officials has never happened before. It will allow the federal government to more easily identify these cases of fraud and then prosecute those who violate our election laws. And it is, again, appalling that any politician, regardless of party, could be against ensuring only American citizens can vote in American elections. How could anyone ever be against ensuring Americans need to have proof of identification to participate in our elections? You see the Democrats falling over themselves, trying to say this is somehow voter suppression. Absolutely not. We are trying to ensure that every American citizen, their vote actually counts and is not being outweighed by fraudulent votes and fraudulent ballots that we know have been cast in previous elections. So the president's taking this very seriously. He signed an extremely strong executive order directing action from the AG and the Department of Homeland Security as well to clean up our elections. And we expect Congress to do more on this front as well. Let's go over here.
On that question, and again, Karoline, thank you so much for hosting this. Really appreciate the opportunity to come in here and ask questions of you guys and and appreciate the president giving us some time of yours as well. On a follow-up on Dom's question, I still have a ton of my audience that is still asking questions about Hillary Rodham Clinton and the fact that it came out that her and the DNC funded the Steele dossier, which then led to a Crossfire Hurricane and all the FISA abuses that went against President Trump leading up to the 2020 election. Is there, you don't have to spill the beans, but is there something? Is there somebody still looking at it? We just want to know that it's not dead in the water, that Hillary's not just off scot-free after knowing what her and the DNC did leading up to the 2020 election.
It's a great question. Absolutely understand and agree with why you're asking it, but I would want to let the president weigh in on that front. I haven't discussed it with him, to be honest with you, but certainly we can ask him and get back to you.
First and foremost, we want to just commend the administration for creating the new media outreach program, which, like you heard, is a program designed for anybody that's serious about journalism, anybody with Instagram, a Twitter account, any social media account. You don't have to have 1 million followers. You can come to the White House and you can ask questions that pretty much can impact your community. You can get these questions to the ear of the president and potentially solutions can come about. I don't think there's ever been a time in history where the average 18-year-old with a camera, with a phone, or with a desire to be a journalist can have the opportunity to come to the highest office in the United States, the White House, and ask the person who holds the highest seat, his secretary. I think that's a phenomenal thing, and I have to commend the administration for allowing just independent journalism to sit in the House, independent journalists to sit in those seats. And it's no longer just the oligarchs of media, the CNNs, the CBSs, the Fox that has the right or the privilege to sit in those seats and ask those questions. So that's first and foremost. So let's talk about the question the reporter asked Karoline.
So I would love to get your reaction to recent comments made by Simone Sanders, who said that people of color would be next in line for deportation under this president.
Often we find ourselves being attacked with just misleading information. I've heard that this narrative that Black Americans are going to be deported next. Like after all the illegal immigrants are deported, they're coming for Black Americans. And I think it is an unfortunate scare tactic that's being used against Black Americans to make them feel just even more less of an American. The reality of the situation is Black Americans are 100% Americans. There's no place to deport a Black American. That's why the reporter said, you're going to send me back to Augusta, Georgia. There's just been the misinformation is just outstanding. I remember in February, they were saying President Trump and the White House is going to cancel Black History Month. They're no longer acknowledging Black History Month. And, what ends up happening is there's a big Black History Month celebration at the White House.
The garden will predominantly feature incredible women like Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Billie Holiday, Aretha Franklin, and Coretta Scott King. And I will showcase it will be something very extraordinary. It's going to be we're going to produce some of the most beautiful works of art in the form of a statue for men like Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Jackie Robinson, what a great athlete that was. Martin Luther King Jr., Muhammad Ali, he's not a bad athlete. What do you think, Muhammad? Not too bad. And the late Kobe Bryant. People love Kobe Bryant.
Now, I want to be clear. This is a disclaimer. I am not a Donald Trump supporter. I do not own the Make America Great hat, the red hat. I am an unbiased journalist, okay? But I am not a loyal Donald Trump supporter. I do not agree with what Donald Trump and what the U.S. regime is doing with Africa as far as Burkina Faso. They came in with the Congo. They claim to have ended the war and the conflict in the Congo. But of course, it's because they ended it on terms that America will assist them with investments. And, the Congo is crazy with resources. I don't want to get sidetracked here, but that's a different video. I want to just talk about the points made in this press conference.
Time of yours as well. On a follow up on Dom's question, I still have a ton of my audience that is still asking questions about Hillary Rodham Clinton and the fact that it came out that her and the DNC funded the Steele dossier, which then led to a Crossfire Hurricane and all the.
So lastly, the reporter mentioned the Steele dossier. What is that? So basically, the Steele dossier refers to a collection of reports compiled in 2016 by a British intelligence officer. And it came out that later this British intelligence officer who claimed that Donald Trump was in connection to Russia to pull off a collusion for the 2016 presidential election, right? It came out that this British intelligence officer was being funded by the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, and Hillary Clinton. So, there's a huge controversy around, did they set this entire boogeyman story up, this entire big bad Russia, Donald Trump story just to derail, just to pretty much throw Donald Trump off of his focus? Was it all just orchestrated by Hillary Clinton and the DNC? So that's what the Steele dossier, for anyone who did not know what that was. To the reporter who mentioned about Obama and his connection with the voter suppression, or I just think it's a great thing that independent reporters are coming and asking the real questions. Next, we're going to ask, what do you think about reparations for Black Americans? I think we need we need to continue this conversation, continue to take advantage of the new media outreach program, okay? We all should, if you truly desire journalism, we all should have a seat in that room. And I think their admission should be flooded with people. The new media outreach program is an initiative by Donald Trump administration aimed at reshaping its communication strategy by engaging directly with alternative media outlets and digital influencers. This program seeks to bypass traditional media channels, which the administration often views as adversary, and instead disseminates its message through platforms and personalities that align more closely with its perspectives, engaging in digital media. So, hey, this is King Messiah. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to continue with the content. I appreciate everybody who's been with me from day one, everybody who's continued to support, even when I'm not posting as consistent as I would like. You still support, and that means a lot to me. Make sure you hit the, let me know, what do you think about this entire topic? Just what do you think about what Donald Trump has done in the first 100 days? Do you think he's doing a good job, a bad job, or you don't even think about it? This is King Messiah. I appreciate y'all support. One love.